But it's in the end, really, it's about being more conscious, more present, more often.
And then it's we can't if there is so much false stuff in us, false junk. So this reminds me of a quote from Rumi. It says like suffering is like being washed by the gods or by God. Suffering is like being washed by God. And yeah, I think more longer, some period of suffering can, I've always saw it in myself and other people, like dissolving this false personality, cockiness, arrogance. And then as this, we don't speak about chakras in the fourth way, but the heart chakra or the heart center, so it helps to break one's heart open and there's this story I read recently. There's a classic story of Buddha that he sat under the tree and he was there very meditating, and then Mara, the Lord of Destruction, came and shot arrows and flames and towards him to destroy him. Basically, it wasn't the. I mean, I believe there was some temptation before. Yeah, there was some temptation with women and with wealth and this or that, but the final assault, and Buddhists, pardon me if I'm getting it wrong, but the sequence. But one of the assaults before his awakening or liberation or awakening was that the Lord of Destruction shot all these arrows and they were all coming towards him. And then the story goes that he was just sitting, being, and they all turn into flowers. Okay, which is like magic, but I think that the inner meaning, the esoteric, is that this suffering, the resentment, rage, loss, loneliness, all of this through transmuting, for transformation of suffering, as I call it in the fourth way, for transformation of suffering, then now it changes, it becomes like good for us. It becomes good, it is good for us. So yeah, I remember I think Pema, I saw this in Pema Chodron. I was reading recently from her, and she was saying that suffering, whether if it's all right, let's back up a little bit. We're talking the fourth way, the unnecessary suffering, which is self-created suffering, which we can do without it. Yeah, like taking things personally, all these stories we have, I'm not good enough, I'm bad, I'm a piece of shit, wanting reality to be different, wanting to control, but we can't, and judgment, judging, self-pity, self-deprecation, all of this is unnecessary suffering, and the real unnecessary imagined suffering. And then the real suffering, as Peter said, is more like sickness, old age, death, loss, betrayal. This is more like hardship in the world and injustice and pain and this kind of stuff. Hurt, deep hurt, physical, emotional. So we put them in these two categories, and they said the unnecessary suffering needs to be, you can't transmute it, you just need to drop it. It needs to be sacrificed. Gurdjieff would say that Gurdjieff was saying that, the most difficult thing for men is to sacrifice his unnecessary suffering. We want to keep it, to juice it, to milk it, for various reasons. And then the real suffering, then we can now, real suffering is more like deeper work, and then we bring our acceptance. They bring acceptance and self-remembering, and so we are remembering ourselves more and more with the energy of the suffering. Yeah, so we have it like two different things. But coming back to Pema Chodron, she was saying that suffering, and I believe both of them. Suffering is a way in which the universe or God, the infinite field of consciousness, shows us where we are stuck. Yeah, so even in the unnecessary suffering, it's not so easy to say, hey, drop it, man. You know, I work with clients all the time, and all that self-pity and self-deprecation is deeply embedded in them. You can't say, dude, stop it. It doesn't work like that. It's a complex mechanism in them, in all the centers. And yeah, looking at it, that the suffering is where to see it, where we are stuck on the path, where we are stuck in some way. So therefore, both are very useful, basically. I think you said before we started recording something about that both unnecessary suffering, even unnecessary suffering is necessary.
Yes, my teacher used to say unnecessary suffering is necessary in order for you to realize that it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
And it shows us where we are stuck in the feeling of identity. That's where awareness is stuck. All the other ways and areas in which we are stuck are connected to that. That's my experience. We're stuck. That's the central sticking point. We are stuck in us as this person. Awareness is stuck in this.
Yeah.
And real suffering helps it get unstuck. It unsticks. It dissolves the glue. It's a solvent that dissolves that particular glue. And that glue, of course, is identification.